Fear Street Prom Queen. The film opens in 1988 with the voice of Laurie Granger narrating. She says that her name is cursed and that people have said she would either end up dead or become a killer. Laurie says that by the end of that night, she technically did. 2 days earlier, Shadyside High School is getting ready for prom night. Laurie is in the running for prom queen alongside the school's queen bee, Tiffany Falconer, who is Laurie's biggest tormentor. She is accompanied by her clique, the Wolf Pack, and fellow candidates, Linda Harper, Debbie Winters, and Melissa McKendrick, the latter who is Tiffany's most loyal friend. The sixth candidate is a local weed dealer and rebel, Christy Renault. Laurie's best friend is Megan Rogers, a horror enthusiast. In class, the girls are discussing the prom and future prospects. Laurie wants to be a writer, but because of Shadyside's reputation, nobody has hopes of escaping the town and doing better. Tiffany and her friends also mock Laurie because of the nasty rumor that her mother, Rosemary, murdered her father. In retaliation, Megan gets out a prop cleaver and pretends to chop her own hand off to freak everyone out. Tiffany's father, Dan, who is also the teacher, sends Megan to the principal. Laurie goes to her job as a waitress. Tiffany and the Wolfpack are there, along with Tiffany's boyfriend, Tyler Torres, who appears to share a mutual attraction with Laurie. Tiffany's mother, Nancy, who is just as horrible as she is, watches as she tries on her prom dress. Melissa comes over, where she tries on one of Tiffany's old dresses. Meanwhile, Christy goes to drop weed off to some preppy jerks in Sunnyvale. When she starts walking home, she is cornered in an alley by a masked figure wearing a red cloak. The figure brings his axe down on Christy's shoulder and lets her crawl for a bit before swinging it down onto her head. On the day of prom, the candidates are gathered for a practice run. On her way home from school, Laurie is spotted by Tiffany, who cannot resist the opportunity to be a bitch to her. Megan goes looking for Christy to buy weed from her, but her boyfriend Jimmy tells Megan he hasn't heard from Christy. The masked killer gets out a yearbook with all of the candidates' pictures, and he crosses Christy's picture out. As prom begins, Tiffany and her friends come out on stage to do a dance number for the audience, completely blocking Laurie out. Afterwards, Linda and her boyfriend Bobby go to a classroom to hook up. They hear a noise, and Linda goes to check it out. A slash is heard, and Linda walks back to Bobby, disemboweled. The killer emerges and chops off both of Bobby's hands with a paper trimmer before he gets his head smashed into the glass of the door. Outside, Megan pulls off a prank where she puts a mold of Tiffany's head into the punch bowl. Everyone is freaked out again, but Laurie in particular is annoyed with Megan this time, as she secretly hopes she can win prom queen and have everything work out for the better for her. This causes a rift between the two girls. Laurie is later gifted a bouquet of roses by a mystery person. Debbie and her boyfriend Judd take their turn to go hook up. The killer finds them in a dirty basement and slices into Judd's face with a buzzsaw. He chases Debbie and scares her into falling backwards against the electrical panel, where she is fatally electrocuted and briefly causes a blackout. When Tiffany sees that Tyler is giving Laurie attention, she makes another crass comment about her father's murder, which even Melissa considers to be too much. Laurie goes to the bathroom, and Melissa gives her Tiffany's makeup bag to make herself look better. When Tiffany finds out, she insults Melissa and throws punch in her face. The DJ then puts Laurie and Tiffany into a dance, which Laurie ends up winning and leaves Tiffany humiliated. Meanwhile, Melissa goes to clean herself up and is cornered by the killer in the locker room. Before she can escape, a second killer emerges, and the first one slams his axe into Melissa's head. Tyler has enough of Tiffany's behavior, and he breaks up with her to go dance with Laurie. After realizing that Linda, Debbie, and Melissa have disappeared, and Jimmy hasn't heard from Christy in days. When she goes to warn Lori, she just assumes Megan is coming up with another gag to go against prom night and ruin things for Lori. Lori and Tyler go off to hook up, and Tyler gets a knife through his skull. Lori makes a run for it while Megan comes across the bodies of Judd and Debbie, plus the school's janitor, Stoker. Lori and Megan run back into each other, their fears now confirmed. They manage to break out from the basement by climbing out of a window. The girls run back into the gym, where Lori is announced as being prom queen. She goes on stage to try and warn everyone, but the killer chops off the leg of a rude girl, Claire, and then decapitates her boyfriend Gerald. The students start to scatter, and Principal Whalen gets his arm chopped off, but he survives. Lori then takes her prom crown and stabs the killer through the eye. Some of the guys hold him down, and he is unmasked to reveal that it was Dan, acting on behalf of his wife and daughter so that Tiffany could win prom queen. Police arrive to arrest Dan. Lori and Megan reconcile before Megan is taken to the hospital. Lori agrees to accompany Tiffany home since they live across the street from each other. On the ride back, Tiffany seems apologetic to Lori over her behavior and explains it was due to years of feeling like she was never good enough. Nancy convinces the police to let her go home to her daughter. Unfortunately, she was the second killer, and she returns home wielding a knife. When Lori and Tiffany see this, they hide in the closet, but Tiffany quickly reveals she was in on the murders as well. Nancy and Tiffany prepare to kill Lori, but first Nancy reveals that it was she who murdered Lori's father since he left Nancy for Rosemary. Tiffany requests to be the one to kill Lori, but Lori kicks Tiffany through the staircase, sending her falling and getting impaled on a hallway decoration. Nancy goes after Lori, but she breaks into their trophy cabinet and grabs one to bludgeon Nancy. As she dies, Nancy pleads for help. When Lori refuses, Nancy starts insulting her and asks her who she thinks she is. She simply replies, "I'm Lori Granger." A pool of blood around Nancy's head forms the witch's mark, implying the Falconers were somewhat under the control of the Good family.